This week's rental is a Wolkswagen Passat, and I would have to say it's the first Volkswagen of modern times that I've ever driven. A friend of mine in high school had a Volkswagen Bug that was converted to a dune buggy, and I drove that thing. But this is the first new or modern age Volkswagen that I've ever driven. So I wanted to start out with the driving part because that's where I'm at right now, and I'll do a review of the other features later. But just wanted to show a couple of things that I kind of liked about it. I'm not going to go through the top 10, but I'm just going to mention some of the things that are cool and some of the things that I really haven't gotten used to. First part is the gas mileage. It's very, very fuel efficient. I've driven about 400 miles and I've still got a quarter tank left. I filled it up before I made my trip, and I'm actually going back on the return trip, and I've driven about 400 miles. I've still got quite a bit of gas left, so very fuel efficient. Dashboard's not anything special to talk about. It doesn't have the cool touchscreen or anything, but it's got ample controls and stuff, and it's I do a little bit more in-depth stuff of the center console later. I don't want to take my hands off the wheel and run off the road, but yeah, it's a nice car. I had my doubts at first, but it's growing on me. I like it. So let me give you a pan around back here, show you the back of the car. Good visibility. So stick around and I'll show you the rest of the car later. I've been trying to do a inside the car review for a while, but it's been kind of rainy and dark, and in the afternoons when I'm off work, it's been kind of dark to do an inside. So I'm going to try to show you the inside of this Volkswagen Passat while there's some kind of daylight. Dashboard's pretty standard. Got your tachometer and temperature gauge over here, and you've got the speedometer and fuel gauge. Showed you before. One thing about the Volkswagen I kind of like is the radio buttons. It seems to be, I wouldn't say standard, but it's getting more common that you get the radio buttons on the steering wheel here. I'm guessing that's your mobile phone button, but anyway, these changed the dial up and down. These are kind of like the seek buttons, and here's your volume buttons, and then I guess that's kind of like the Volkswagen version of OnStar. I haven't pushed it, and I'm not quite sure what that microphone does, but something to do with the phone. Anyway, the turn signals thing is over here, but it's got a weird cruise control where this is off. See if I can get a close up there. Off, and then when you turn it on, and then you can either hit the top or the bottom to set it if it isn't set. But of course, once you set it on this bottom toggle, then you hit resume if you stopped your if you hit the brakes, or if you hit cancel. The way you hit cancel is you just kind of push it halfway, and that cancels your cruise control setting. Anyway, that's enough about that. Lights over here are pretty standard. Window controls on the door. Those are mirror controls on the door. Now, the one thing I kind of noticed, that there are no door locks that pop up. You can hear it pop, but if you lock yourself out, you're pretty much hosed. There's no way to get a wire hanger in here and open the door. That's kind of cool. When it's locked, the little lock light comes on. When it's unlocked, no light, and then locked, the little lock light comes on. But what I noticed, that when you have the door open, let me turn the car off, and you hit the lock button, nothing happens. So you can't lock the door with the door open for some reason. You have to use the key fob. And here's the key fob here. Pretty standard key fob. The key does fold down. You push this little button up here, and you fold the key down. And when you're ready to use it, you just boop. And it's pretty standard buttons, panic buttons on the side. And you got lock, trunk. To open the trunk, I'll show you in a little bit. You hold that down for a couple of seconds, and of course lock and unlock. Pretty standard, nothing unusual. The radio controls, pretty standard, but it took me a while to get used to, but it's pretty cool. The temperature controls are kind of odd too, or I would say I'm unfamiliar with them. You've got the heat. Now when you turn the heat, you can see either you can have both of them go up and down, or there's a button here called sync. You push that button and you can raise the passenger independently from the driver. But once you push sync, you can turn the okay. You push sync and you turn the driver side and it syncs them up. But if you just want the passenger, you either turn it to where the sync is off, or you just turn the passenger side and it turns the synchronization off. And then you've got the fan. It's kind of weird. It's an electronic little rheostat indicator. There's not like a manual knob pointer, so it's kind of neat. You can look down and see it, and then you can turn the whole thing off if you like. So that's enough about that. The one thing that kind of caught me off guard when I first got the car was the seat adjustment. Most American seat adjustments are either on the right or on the left of the driver if it's electronic, or there's a hoop in the front of the seat that you just pull up and you can adjust the seat back and forth. But in this car, it's I don't know, you can see that it's right here. There's a little lever right there. You can see my hand there. But you lift that up and then you can scooch the seat back or forward. So that was kind of the first thing that caught me. The other thing too is when I first got the car, the steering wheel was like right up against the dashboard. So somebody said, well, you can't adjust the distance from the dashboard. And so, well, I never tried. I know it can go up and down. But in this car, there's a little lever down here. You pull that down, and you can actually, let me get the right angle, you can actually make the steering wheel closer or farther away. It's a telescoping as well as up and down. So I don't know if other cars do this or not, but that's new to me. So let's go take a look outside. Forgot to mention the other center console things. It's got a nice deep well here for sunglasses and whatnot change, and it's got the standard shifter. I'm guessing these are accessory buttons if you have an upgraded model. Pretty nice cup holders, pretty decent. You got 2 cup holders here. I keep my chains in a little change drawer here, and then the little box in there. It's got your MP3 player, headphone jack, and it's got an auxiliary 12-volt jack in there. It's pretty deep well, pretty nice. So nothing fancy there. And then glove box, pretty standard. And back seat, pretty roomy, pretty good visibility. I don't like the back window though. It is kind of dark or kind of small, but other than that, it works. Got some nice dome lights there. That's another thing I wouldn't say didn't like, but I would have liked to have bigger buttons. But this is how you turn the dome lights on, or the map lights. I guess if it's off, you hit that little button for the map light. So it's kind of hard at night, kind of fumbling around for the button versus just hitting the light like the other vehicles I've had. But you can turn that to always on off, always on, or just for the door. Alright, can you see that? Yep. Door, always on, off. So those are the map lights. Mirror's kind of boxy, but it's a mirror. Alright, now let's go outside.